Cable Suite 541's coverage of the 86th Annual Academy Awards is brought to you by ACMC's Conneaut Family Health Center. Dr. Rufus' office is open to patients on March 3rd. CBiz Retirement Plan Services. Learn more at cbiz.com/RPS. Mix 97.1, today's best mix. Magic 102.5, the best of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Suite 224 Internet. And the Conneaut Telephone Company.
Hey, Ken Johnson here with Oscar Coverage 2014. For today, we wanted to take you back to Beverly Hills to the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences headquarters. We're talking with Randy Haberkamp again. This time, we're talking about a new historical preservation movement and a museum project which is going to add to the facilities of the Academy. And this will be located near the UCLA campus in Beverly Hills. So listen and pay attention here, because in a few years this will be a new landmark, something new to see when you go to Los Angeles. I don't know that I like that. Let's retry that. Yeah. Hey, Ken Johnson here with your Wednesday coverage of Oscars 2014. For today, we thought we'd take you back to the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences in Beverly Hills and talk with Department Head Randy Haberkamp about the new museum and preservation initiative that's taking place at the Academy. So listen in as Randy tells us about the new Motion Picture Museum. It'll be near the UCLA campus, but he'll tell you all the details about this new museum initiative at the Academy.
Hey, we're at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. We're joined by New Knoxville native Randy Haberkamp. And Randy, about a year ago, something changed with you. You used to be the director of Outreach, Education, Special Projects. Job changed.
Yes.
Where did it go?
I'm now the Managing Director of Programming, Education, and Preservation, which means I oversee our library, our archive, our programming initiatives, our grants. It's kind of the Academy's foundation, which is the nonprofit entity of it, as opposed to the part that puts on the Oscars, which is its own separate beast. And the money that we make off the Oscars helps support this foundation. So when people watch the Oscars, they're actually helping to support film preservation. They're helping to support maintaining history for people to come and see in our library and be able to do research, as well as any other public programs that we do, and some of the scientific research we do as well. So it's a really terrific thing just because of television.
Driving around town, I've seen a couple of large billboards, and I've seen some press releases about a museum. Can you fill us in on that whole initiative?
It's been something that's been talked about since the 20s, a motion picture museum in Hollywood. And so we are finally, after many years of talking about it, many years of planning, even a couple of different architectural plans or two, we are opening an Academy Museum of Motion Pictures in 2017.
Wow.
It's going to be on the LA County Museum of Art's campus, which is in a building that used to be a very large department store, 300,000 square feet.
Wow.
We're adding a giant 1,000 seat theater onto the back of it, designed by Italian architect Renzo Piano. It will be very futuristic, and yet in the front it's very Art Deco, so it'll have a very nice past and present and future all combined into one. And it'll be a great, exciting place so that when people come to Los Angeles and want to find Hollywood, they can find it in this museum.
Will that end up hosting a screening similar to the programming that you do here at the Academy?
Yes, only more. It'll
Really?
be open every day.
Wow.
Yes, so it'll have lots of premieres, lots of parties, but also film festivals, screenings all the time, changing exhibits, and a great bookstore, great places to eat, and a place to celebrate film in all of its glory.
So will it be back to the beginning of film through everything that new is coming along, or is it just historical?
Nope, everything new and future. and present. It'll be a place where students can come and learn about careers in film, or motion pictures. It'll be a place where they can get a sense of how films are made, how they were made, how it's changed, how it hasn't changed, because in essence, films are still about storytelling, and some of those techniques and some of those things that films can do are things that have been happening since the 1900s.
You know, Randy, I'm a guy that enjoys going to the movies, seeing a movie, try my hand at a little bit of writing. But what is it about the history of film? Because when we talk to you, typically your eyes light up the further back you go. And you talk about the technology, you talk about the techniques that were used. What is it about that stimulates Randy Haberkamp?
What stimulates me is that, especially when film and filmmaking and the art of cinema was born, after years of sitting in seats like this and looking at a stage where the stage was in a fixed place, and after years of having stories told in virtually the same way, either on a printed page or from an actor's mouth or on a stage, or from some kind of even just poetry or dance, all those things that were developed for centuries, suddenly storytelling changed intrinsically. The way we understand our world changed intrinsically. And instead of just sitting here, I could travel all over the world. I could see the world. I could see microbiology in close-up.
Sure.
I could see all the universe pretty much right in front of me, and I could see it put together through editing, through design, and through compression of time and space. I could see it put together in an entirely new way. And we've been exploring that filmmaking technique for the past 100 or so years, and it's just fascinating to me what we can learn about ourselves, about each other, how we're different, how we're the same. And because of what you can do with film, there's just an emotional impact, an intellectual impact that was never possible before. And it's such a unique thing to me.
Well, it's interesting because of your perspective going backwards in time. I really enjoy going to the theater, and I remember going to see The Matrix when it first came out, and someone had said there were something like 22 film techniques that they employed that maybe had never been done before. And you could see it in the theater. It's funny you mentioned about going to different worlds. It makes me wonder if George Clooney and Sandra Bullock, even when they were making the film, couldn't imagine what it would feel like to the audience in the film Gravity. And to your point, here we are, however, hundreds, plus years later, Gravity is still taking an audience to a place that really has not been done before.
Exactly. And that's the fascinating part of it. And yet, at the same time, one of the things that makes Gravity so compelling to me is that, unlike a lot of films now that are cut like this, because that's the vernacular that's happened, they're very long takes. And those takes are designed in a way that makes it feel even more real because you're out in space and you're just hanging there. And so this is, again, a filmmaker who understood the visual language that's from 1900 on been developed, and understood how to use it and how to manipulate it in a way that has the audience literally holding onto their seats.
So do you feel that this job change is a little more liberating, that you can now really focus on the history?
It's liberating in one sense, but it's also got a lot more administrative parts to it. So I have to exercise the part of my brain that feeds other people's inspirations and other people's jobs and other people's functions, so that the organization is working as a whole. And it's really, for me, very exciting, because to take the library, which is books, papers, posters, photographs, and the archive, which is moving images and all kinds of versions of that, whether it be film or digital, or even home movies or documentaries or animation, all those things. And then to take programs where we're taking the artifacts that we've collected and putting them on a screen, or putting them in a show, or putting them on the air in whatever ways for people to understand them and explore them. and to have a crew of people that I can help inspire and they can inspire me, it's really exciting in a different way, but also exhausting, because instead of somehow thinking about the latest great film we're going to screen, I'm thinking about how am I going to get these two employees to stop fighting, you know, and work together, you know,
Sure.
stuff like that. But when you get a group of people that are sitting around a table and all come up with ideas and feed each other, it's really a great thing to be able to create that kind of environment for people to work in, and I've been enjoying that immensely.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to see the new museum and the programs that the Academy puts on in the future with a renewed emphasis on the history
Great.
of film.
Yeah.
Thanks, Randy, as always.
Great. Well, welcome to LA. Hope you come back frequently, and hope you enjoy the museum when it opens.